Right on top of integers, please. And let us not forget what integers are. Integers are, Chase, focus, son, focus. What are integers? The exact book definition is? No, you don't have to look, just tell me. Somebody? Oh boy. Here we go. Back to none. What are integers? Grace? Thank you very much. Positive and negative whole numbers. They can't be decimals or fractions. They're whole numbers, both the positive and the negatives, or whole hashtags. And unfortunately today we go into the wonderful world of subtracting integers. Sometimes people groan when I say that. Oh, but only the smart classes. Subtracting integers. Now before we go to subtracting, let us just do, Joseph, a quick little review of addition. Remember that whole adding integer thing? Oh, you can keep it in the thing. You know, if I have a positive 6 plus a negative 8, what were the rules? What were the rules? Don't tell me the answer, Zach. I want to know the rules. What were the rules, Zach?
Keep the sign of whichever number is greater.
Yeah, if they don't have the same sign, which these don't, you know your answer is going to end up being negative because there's more negatives than there are positives. Correct? You remember that simple little thing? And then if they're opposite signs, you're always going to subtract them, even if it says addition. Got that? Because there are 8 of these little negative signs. There are 6 of these positive signs. One negative crosses off with one positive, so blah, 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 blah. When the smoke clears, you end up with what, Connor? Negative 2. If they both have the same sign, what happens? Yeah, whether it's negative 6 plus a negative 8 or a positive 6 plus a positive 8, in both of these cases, you're going to add them together and get 14. The only difference is you take the sign that they both have. So that ends up being negative 14, that ends up being positive 14. Are you ready? Deep breath. So, what's up with subtracting?
What's up with subtracting?
I'm so glad you asked. Here's the deal with subtracting, children. In math, there is no such thing as subtracting in reality. I don't want to burst your little proverbial math bubbles, but I want you to understand this. There, technically, is no such thing as subtracting. It's just adding the opposite. These are famous statements that you probably will never even catch on to. But I'm going to put it down there because sometimes you show glimpses of incredible intelligence. Technically, there's no such thing as subtracting. It's just adding opposites. I'll let that sink in and then I'll just tell you this. Here's the directions. To subtract integers. How about that? That's kind of spiffy one. To subtract integers, you just add their opposites. Is that clear? You usually say crystal when I say that. Oh, well, we need more than just like 3% participation.
Crystal.
Is that clear?
Crystal.
None of that really matters as long as you just do this. Sarah Grace, you with me? You picking up what I'm laying down on this one here? Here, let's change this, forget about all this, and let's go to a subtraction problem. Positive 8 minus a positive 4. I would be willing to bet you could do this because it's 8 minus 4. Okay? 8 minus 4, anybody? X is 4. Now, in the mathematical world, what that really means is this. I said there's no such thing. By the way, you can still do it because I don't really care. But when you get to negative signs over here, really, this problem is the exact same thing. There's no such thing as subtraction. There is just, look, the first number stays the same, adding the opposite. The opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. I'm adding negative 4. And what is a positive 8 plus a negative 4? 4. Now, I know no light bulbs came on that. It actually makes it more complicated than what you're thinking. But here's why we do that is because when you start doing this, look. What about a positive 8 minus a negative 4? A positive 8 minus a negative 4. Rather than thinking of it that way, instead of subtracting a negative, I know the first number is going to stay the same, I add the opposite. Add the opposite. And 8 plus 4 is 12. That is the answer to that problem. Negative 8, or positive 8 minus a negative 4 is 12. Which you might say, how can that be?
How can that be?
What you must understand, ladies and gentlemen, is when you take away a negative, what really are you doing? I think I threw this at you before. Your parents go to the bank and they borrow $250,000 for their house. That means they are negative $250,000. They are in debt $250,000. If I went to your parents and took away that debt, I subtracted their debt, technically what have I done? I've given your parents $250,000. I really have given them $250,000. If you take away a debt, you've actually given somebody money. And that's why this is true. Taking away a negative is the same as adding a positive. Ooh and ah. So should we simplify it even farther? No, I guess I really can't. To subtract integers, you add their opposites. To subtract integers, you add their opposites. What was that?
You just switched the second number, right?
Yes, it's only the second one. Let's look at another. Negative 6 minus a negative 8. Negative 6 minus a negative 8. Again, the first number always stays whatever it is. You don't ever change the first number. But you change this to its opposite, change this to its opposite. It's the same as a negative 6 plus a positive 8, which happens to be, Leighton Purdue, what is negative 6 plus positive 8?
Positive 2.
Yeah, just a 2. Positive 2. That's fine with that. We should probably look at all possible cases, shall we? Should we go big numbers? Let's go hard. Let's go for the full thing here. Let's go positive 75 minus positive 13. Positive 75 minus a negative 13. Negative 75 minus positive 13. And negative 75 plus, I'm sorry, no, not plus, we're doing all subtraction. Minus, what am I missing? A negative 13? Yes, negative 13. Is that not big enough? Shall I make it bigger? Is that all of them? So again, if you follow the simple little rules, you can just change them all right away, but we won't. Let's just write it out here. Really all you're doing is this to do all of these problems. You're changing these, I want it red. You're changing this to plus and changing this to its opposite so it becomes minus. What is a positive 75 plus a negative 13? Anybody out there in the world, you have 75 pluses and you're taking away 13 negative, you end up with? Who, what? Everybody disagreeing with that? Is that positive or negative? Positive, because the positives are more. What happens to this one? Subtracting a negative is the same as adding the opposite. What is 75 plus a positive 13? Oh, listen to people shouting out and spewing off answers. This one, change it to positive, change it to its opposite. Negative 75 plus a negative 13 is? Who is screaming out all the answers? And this one, change it to positive, change it to positive. Negative 75 plus positive 13 is? Wow, there's a lot of confidence out there in something. 62. Who feels relatively convinced that they're not as sure as they could have been the last time we said something that wasn't that exciting? What? Let me throw a whole bunch of you at you and see. I'm going to let you do these and we'll see. We will see what kind of ending results we get. Here we go. Ready? Negative 12 minus a negative 3. You can do all 4 of these problems on your own. Negative 3 minus a negative 12. Negative 12 minus a positive 3. And a negative 3 minus a positive 12. Tell me what you get for all 4 of those separate yet equal problems, children. By the way, you can look at the book, and if you like their definition better, their rule is to subtract the absolute value of the atoms, take the sign of the atom with the greater absolute value. I'm absolutely convinced that that's what they're doing. Answers, do we have them? Joseph, what are you thinking? You got answers? Are you close? Okay. Well, it's just adding them. I mean, 12 and 3. You're either going to get 15 or 9, I believe. There's no other options for all of them. You're either going to add them, put them together, or take them away. You will get no other. Who wants to be brave and daring on the first one? What is a negative 12 minus a negative 3? Madison says,
Negative 9.
how many people say negative 9? Caleb says,
15.
positive 15?
Negative 15.
Negative 15. Well, let's look. Did we change the signs? Instead of subtracting a negative, did we add a positive? Caleb? 12 negatives, 3 positives, negative 9. Right? Okay. How about the second one? Negative 3 minus a negative 12. Aaron Murray.
9.
Aaron says 9. Positive 9, raise your hand. Anybody going against the... Well, did you change the sign plus and plus? Negative 3 plus a positive 12. You have 3 negatives and you have 12 of these positives. That's a lot of them. The 3 of them cancel out with that and leave you with 9 positives. How about the next one? Negative 12 minus a positive 3. Cassie.
Negative 15.
Cassie says negative 15. Did you change this to its opposite? This to its opposite? 12 negatives. 3 more negatives. 15 negatives. Everybody get 15 negatives? Are you with me now? If not, forever hold your peace. And the last one. Joseph says.
Negative 15.
Did you change this to a plus and make this a minus?
Yes.
3 negatives and 12 more negatives is negative 15. Is that true? Is everybody on the right? Are we okay with that? Do you want me to give you another one, or do you think you have some sort of... Now, write this down. Here are the practical applications. Right out of the book it says, Bob has a balance of $1,286. Bob has a balance of $1,286 in the bank. She receives a check for $25. He receives a check for $25. Oh, no, I don't want to do this one. Forget that. Don't write that down. That doesn't even make any sense. Skip that. No, I don't even want to do it. I'm stopping. Forget I even put that down. You think you have that?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not done yet. Well, maybe I am. So what if this happens, children? What if you get this, -6 minus 5? What do I do with that, Sophia? Answer to that, somebody. Wow, that's what I thought. Cassie? It is -11. In case you didn't catch, the book just throws a whole bunch of parentheses that are not needed. They would do this, -6 plus -5. Same thing. They just don't put the positive signs in there. You've been doing this, pretty much forever. All right, enough. Stop. Stop all this.